A teacher, once again, using a racial slur. Why? We have been reporting about teachers using racial slurs for 2 damn weeks, okay? Seems like every day there's a new one. Let's put it up full mass. So a substitute teacher in Ann Arbor, Michigan is under fire after a 7th grader said she used a racial slur while talking to him. I'm going to give you the background to this, and it is a familiar one. The teen's mother reported the incident to the school and the local police, accusing the educator of perpetrating a hate crime on her son. I was shocked, hurt, said Brittany, the boy's mother. Both agencies have launched an investigation into the allegations, which with the school district saying it is taking the situation very seriously. They always say that. So it's a bunch of serious looking people walking around the school. We take it very seriously. Let me explain why I think the mother went to the police. There are many states, Georgia is one of them, by the way. There are many states, if you use profanity in front of a minor, whatever that profanity may be, if it's profane language, it could actually be a crime. And many states have that statute. I don't like the way it's implemented, okay? But I understand the justification for decency, but I don't like the implementation of it. All right, so the child's parents, when they heard about this, they jumped into action immediately, okay? After the middle school student told them what happened during a school day, according to the child, whose name is being withheld because he's a minor. On Friday, May 12th, the teacher overheard him casually using the N-word with a classmate and entered into the conversation using the racial epithet. WXYZ reports. The teacher came up to him, posed a question, asked him to leave the classroom, and he complied. On the way out of the classroom, she said, "Why are you using the N-word when you are?" And then she says the N-word, said Brittany. I want a full stop on that. Every time we report on something like this and there's a minor, there's a student who may be utilizing language inappropriate to the classroom or the academic setting, there's this sentiment that it somehow justifies what the teacher did. That if the student used it, well, goodness, obviously the teacher can use it. Student should not have been using it first. Let me ask you this, for those who think that way, do you think that way about all words or just the N-word? If a student drops an F-bomb, should the teacher drop the F-bomb? If a student uses the B word, should then teachers walk around using the B word? It doesn't happen that way, does it? It's not even contextualized in the same format. So why is it that when a child engages in immature language, why is it that teachers feel as if, well, I need to engage in this language too, but they create immunity for the other words that are inappropriate? All right, there's more. Okay, so there was a difference here, and I'm going to break this down because I think it's interesting. And by the way, big ups to Atlanta Black Star. They do a great job reporting on these stories. There was a difference in how he used it with his friend and how the teacher used it. She pronounced the word with hard R. While in the hallway, outside of the classroom, the teacher continued to say the derogatory word. Eventually, another staffer asked her to stop. Another staffer was like, hey, ma'am, can you please stop saying the N-word inside of the school? After the boy's parents alerted the school district about the incident, the substitute teacher, who had actually retired from teaching full time, was placed on administrative leave. The student returned to school on Monday, May 15th, and reports he experienced retaliation from another school employee who reportedly confronted him about telling on the substitute teacher, okay? All right, so let's talk about the nuance here. I really don't need to explain that. Everybody knows what the hell it is, right? Okay, there's a vernacular, there's a expression that's within the lexicon of urban language. And then there's this teacher who decides to engage in said language with the hard ER at the end, and repeated it over and over again, so much so that another professional had to say, stop being unprofessional. And it seems as if the teacher was upset at the student because the student actually spoke up. It's insane. So according to Brittany, who prefers her last name to be withheld, so her son does not receive additional retaliation from classmates and adults, a teaching assistant tried to pressure her son to retract his statement about the teacher using the offensive, racist word. Like her colleague, the mother says, the teaching assistant also used the word. Not softening the end, but articulating the hard R again. Let's put this lady up. All right. So in a statement about the incident, Superintendent Janice Swift of the Ann Arbor Public Schools said the district stands firm against any and all acts of bias, bigotry, and racism. Swift categorized the substitute to action as a redirection of the students' use of the racial slur, adding administrators were in communication over the weekend and placed a teacher on leave as they followed up with a thorough investigation. Keep her picture up. Please understand, her statement says, what really happened here was a redirection of the students' use of the racial slur. No, ma'am, that is not what happened here. Redirection is actually opposite of what happened. Redirection literally takes you away from either the phrase or the word by pivoting with actual new language. You don't know what redirection is, do you? Maybe you thought others would not know what it meant. Do you all engage in redirection, Superintendent, when it comes to other words? Or is this redirection doctrine at your school only applicable when teachers use the N-word? Upon hearing about the two incidents, one person on social media said, and I quote, I hope that teacher and assistant are both fired for racist comments and intimidation of a middle school child at your school. An assessment of the student body at each school served by the AAPD breaks down on average 50.7% white, almost 14% black, 14% Asian or Asian Pacific Islander, and 9.6% Hispanic and Latino. Okay, so now you have also the unprofessional actions of the teacher. The reason why teachers are certified, the reason why teachers are approved is because they are expected to be professionals throughout the entire day. You're supposed to be a professional because other people may not be. That's the whole reason for it. You're not a professional just because everybody else around you will be, especially students. So when you decide to step outside of professionalism and engage in immature language or behavior not becoming of a certified school teacher or a substitute, then there should be a penalty for that. You cannot teach a lesson without being an example. Children do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you walk around calling them the N-word, you cannot teach them English. If you walk around calling them the N-word, you cannot teach them math because they have shut you down, all right? This is an educational opportunity, a tool.